Good morning. Philip Holmes, Anadarko from Denver, our Denver office. Pleasure to be here. I've got a nice presentation I'd like to share with you this morning. But before I start that, I'd like to just mention that our corporate office is in the Woodlands, Texas, and it's just north of Houston. And it's been closed, the corporate office has been closed for the past week because of all the flooding. And I'd like to just ask everyone for their thoughts and prayers of all the people affected by the flooding. And it looks pretty bad. You watch the news. I'm really happy with all the things our company's doing. We're donating to United Way. We're helping our employees trying to get through this. But up here, we're sort of high and dry, a little bit away from that. But please, I'd ask everyone to keep all the people affected by the flooding and the hurricane, again, foremost in their minds. So thank you for that. Okay, some slides for you. First, a little outline I'd like to talk about this morning. I'm going to start out with safety, and then I'll give you sort of a corporate overview of what Anadarko's been doing over the past year. I'm going to focus more in a little bit locally, what we've been doing here, and then I'll end up a little bit about our community and our core values. First, this is a really important slide, and I'd like to keep it up for about 5 minutes, and then we'll have Q&A. Thank you for laughing. Okay, first, critically important, safety. I'm sure most companies have a great safety program. I think we have a fantastic one. You can see our mission, vision, our policy. I want to just highlight a couple things. First, the goal of the safety program is to have 0 incidents. We want to make sure all our employees, all our contractors, everybody that works for us goes home safely each and every evening. So that's really the focal point of our safety program. Secondly, we always want any program you have, you always want to continuously be improving it. So we have sort of the environment in our company that are always trying to improve our safety program to make it better and better. And I want everyone sort of jump in and help make that safety program better. Everybody that works with or for Anadarko, whether you're an employee, a contractor, whoever, has a responsibility to work safely in an environmentally friendly manner. I really like that last statement up here on this slide by our CEO, Al Walker, that states that the only acceptable work at Anadarko is work done safely. I think that sums it up nicely. Next, I'll go up to sort of a corporate look. And over the past year, we've been streamlining our portfolio, selling, divesting quite a few properties. And you can see where we are focused right now around the world. In the U.S., we have 3 focus areas, and I'll talk about the 2 onshore ones here quite a bit in a minute. Those are where we're investing most of our funds. Our capital budget this year is about $4.3 billion, and about 80% of that will be going to those 3 focus areas. You can see on the map in Africa, the Algeria and our West Africa properties. Historically, we put a lot of funds into that. Right now, those are great cash generators, and we're using those funds to invest in our properties. And then the future value areas, really the growth areas for the companies, for sure in the U.S., you can see Colombia, West Africa, and our operations in Mozambique. So what we've been trying to do over the past year, again, is to streamline this portfolio, and basically focusing on oil properties with great margins and great growth potential. So let me just dive a little bit deeper into that. Here's a map of the U.S., and if anyone sort of remembers sort of our footprint a couple years ago, we had properties really throughout the U.S. We've streamlined, divested a lot of those, and we have 2 really focus areas onshore, which is the DJ Basin and the Delaware Basin. Then we have our base assets in Wyoming and here in Utah, Greater Natural Buttes, which I'll talk about more in a second as well. Those 2 core or focus areas, DJ Basin and Delaware Basin, they're amazing basins. You guys have probably heard a lot about them in the news. In our DJ Basin, we've been drilling horizontal wells for years now. We still have over 4,000 locations yet to drill. Huge inventory. We're going to double oil production in the next 5 years out of the DJ. In the Delaware Basin in West Texas, again in the news a lot, really a hot basin. We're going to quadruple, 4 times oil production growth over the next 5 years in the Delaware Basin. It's hard to imagine, but we've got over 10,000 locations remaining to drill out there. So a huge growth opportunity for us. Let me dive a little deeper into the DJ. Looking at this map, sort of colorful, and I'm colorblind, so if I get the colors wrong, I apologize up front. My teammates will laugh at me. But if you look at this map, I'll just start out. You can see the yellow, which is our acreage. We've got a beautiful acreage block highlighted in yellow, right in sort of the heart of the field and the best rock. On top of that, you can see the red and the green pipelines to take away our gas and oils that we produce. Then you can see sort of the black dots would highlight our different processing or stabilization facilities throughout the field. And that really sort of describes what I like to call is the DJ Basin playbook. So what we'd love to do is go into an area, get into the best rock, have a nice contiguous acreage block, drill the wells, build the pipelines in the plant, and have that as a whole nice wrapped up package. I call that sort of the DJ Basin playbook. Now on top of that, and one thing why I absolutely love the DJ Basin is that EORs in our wells have been growing. We're improving our frac techniques, drilling longer laterals, and so the EORs in the wells are going up. In addition, we've own a lot of the minerals underneath our acreage as well. So that gives us a nice boost to our economics. So when you look at that, I personally think that the DJ Basin, our position, is probably one of the best opportunities in the entire U.S. It's just a fantastic play for us. Next to Delaware. And what we want to do in the Delaware is apply that DJ Basin handbook of drilling the wells, having the acreage, having all the infrastructure support it. We want to do the same exact thing out in the Delaware Basin in West Texas. Look at the resources out there. Big, huge stacked play. The Wolfcamp A, you've heard a lot about that probably. 3 billion barrels of oil equivalent out there in place. Massive opportunity. And again, it's hard to believe, but over 10,000 locations remaining out there, and we're quadruple oil production in the next 5 years. Absolutely amazing. So the DJ Basin playbook, we're going to take it, apply it here, and I'll show you in a minute how that same playbook that we did in the Delaware, that we also did here in Greater Natural Buttes here in Utah. Now you might ask, is it working? You know, we wanted to streamline our portfolio. We wanted to focus more on oilier properties with higher margins, with a lot of growth potential. Well, if you look at this slide, look sort of at the bottom and work our way up. On the left-hand side, you can see our percent of oil for our corporation was about 40% last year in 2016. This year, it's more like 55%, and it'll be growing with time. If you look at our margins, last year our margin was about $19 per barrel. This year our margin is going up 24 bucks a barrel. So I think our strategy is working. And what's really neat, as a result of the divestments, we have quite a bit of liquidity. We have over $6 billion in cash, access to credit facilities, and other liquidity. And that cash gives us a lot of flexibility. We can do acquisitions if we find things we like, or we can accelerate our activities. So we're really in a great position. This slide sort of sums up to me sort of the corporate outlook. We've high-graded our portfolio. We have really efficient capital allocation. We're not putting into 15 or 20 properties around the whole country. 3 basic areas we're focusing on. Great cash generation with huge upside. You know, 4,000 wells in the DJ, 10,000 plus well in the Delaware. With, again, in 5 years, we're going to double our oil volume. So a fantastic looking portfolio now and going forward. So let me just deep dive into a little bit what's happening here in Utah. A little bit of background to start with. Currently, we have about 200 employees here in Utah. And obviously hire hundreds of other contractors to support our teams. Over the last 5 years, we've paid more than $1.5 billion in taxes, salaries, and royalties in the state of Utah, plus invested over the last 5 years more than $2.5 billion. As a result, we're the largest gas producer in the state of Utah. Now, where did all that money go? We spent $2.5 billion. Where did we put it? Drilled a lot of wells. We've got about 2,800 operated wells right now. Built a lot of pipeline, over 1,000 miles of pipeline. Built some processing plants and some NGL pipelines to get our products to market. So we've done a lot of investing over the last 5 years. Then what happened to gas production? You can see gas production really skyrocketed. You know, we acquired Kerr-McGee back in 2006, and production was about 200 million a day then. As a result of our investments over those years, we peaked production up to about 600 million cubic feet of gas a day. So we put all that money into wells, into plants and facilities, and really ramped up production. However, everyone sort of knows what happened. You know, the price of natural gas fell, activity dropped off, and production has dropped off as well. So I sort of view that as sort of the external challenge. If you look at this graph, in red you can see gas price, and you can see back in 2008, I guess it is, gas prices up 12 bucks an MCF. Man, those were great times. Remember those times. You can also see in blue the rig activity and number of wells we were drilling out here. We peaked at, in 2011 and 2012, 350 wells per year. So did a lot of drilling, a lot of activity. However, right now, you know, what are we looking at? When I look at the futures, you know, I wish it were better, but gas pricing to me, and I'm not a gas price forecast expert, but it looks like it's in that $2.75, $3 price range. So I don't think we're going to be getting a lot of, you know, rescuing from higher gas prices. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just when I look at it, that's not what I'm seeing. So what's our response to that sort of steady and lower gas prices? Well, we're not to sit around. We've got a great operations team, great bunch of engineers working on the field. And what are we going to do? So a couple things. Focus on the base, see how we can improve our margins. Focus on the future, and see if there's anything we could do out here that might make the situation better for us. So the first thing is focus on value. The team's been doing a lot of things to try to improve margins out here, to try to safely reduce operating costs. An example of that is we installed the liquid gathering system. And basically what that is a pipeline to gather liquids from the wells. And if you look at this map up here, the gray dots are all the producing wells, and the blue dots are the ones tied to the liquid gathering system. Well, it's pretty expensive to haul water by truck, but when we tied it into the liquid gathering system, we cut our costs by more than half. So a big cost savings there, improving our margins. Doing other things like compressor optimization. Well, when we were making 600 million a day, we needed a whole bunch of compressors throughout the field, but as we're reducing our production, we need less compressors. So we're taking some compressors offline, reducing fuel consumption, and again, improving our margins. So the operation guys are doing a lot of things like that to really help our margins. In addition, we're focusing on production. You know, you want to, if you look historically, the last couple of years, we were on like 11% decline. We've flattened it out now, it's more in the 8% decline. And all the operation guys are trying to do a lot of things to flatten that decline, maximize production. Things like plunger optimization. What can we do to minimize downtime for the wells, maximize production? Looking at workovers. If a well goes down, how quickly can we get it back online? Then things like the compressor optimization. Well, in addition to moving around and reducing some compressors, we put them in the right spot to minimize line pressures and maximize production. So things like that we're doing, again, to maximize margins for the field. I know there's some geologists out here. I'm not a geologist, I'm an engineer, so please don't critique my log. But focus on the future. What are some things we might be able to do out here in the future which might help us? Our horizontal well is going to be part of the buttes going forward. You can see type log I put up there, and in natural buttes, we've got the Green River horizon, the Wasatch, the Mesa Verde, and within the Mesa Verde, huge thick zone, over 4,000 feet thick, multiple pay targets in there as well. So our engineers and geologists are looking at that, trying to understand, is that something we might want to try? Do we want to look at potentially drilling some horizontal wells out there in the future? No promises, we're looking at it, but it's something that I personally am really excited about. Next, talking about our people. You know, we've got a great team out here. and I'm really proud of all the time they put into their community. These are just some of the things that the guys have participated in: Special Olympics, building bikes for kids, backpacks, helping veterans. You know, the company really supports, encourages our employees to give back to the communities in which we live and work, and these guys out here are doing a great job at that. So my hat's off to them for doing that. And lastly, I'll start wrapping up. Just want to summarize a couple of things. You know, with Anadarko, one, safety is paramount. The only acceptable job at Anadarko is to do it safely. Secondly, I've shown you how we streamlined our portfolio. Thirdly, I've shown you what we're thinking about doing in natural buttes, focusing on the base and trying to understand could horizontal wells potentially work, looking at that, trying to understand that, and again, I'm personally excited about that. Then to wrap up, you know, what is it we do? You know, I think our mission statement says it real clearly. And what I'm really proud about is Anadarko. We've got a great mission statement, but really it's our core values. It's how we do it. And that's through our integrity and trust, servant leadership, people and passion, our commercial focus, and open communication. It's a part of our culture. We talk about it every day. We work on it every day. As a result, it's just a fantastic place to work. So thank you very much.